Bonjour tout le monde, comment ça va? J'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui, on va commencer avec un sujet très intéressant. Today, we are going to learn about the usage of the present tense, when and how the present tense is used. Actually, how has already been answered. We know the conjugations of the er word. So we will come to the biggest question here, when to use it exactly. There are a number of the ways in which you can use the present l'indicatif. First of all, to make the general statements, just like in the English language, we use to describe an ongoing action in the present, or we use to take the general statement. That can be done in three different ways. Like, if you want to say Valerie is talking, because ing form doesn't exactly exist in the present tense, so we take the simple present tense over here. Talks or does talk to her friend Ludwig. So in that case, these three, is talking, talks, or does talk, means simply the conjugation at that point, which is parle. Valérie parle à son ami Ludovic. Even in the next sentence, it is going to be the same. He is looking, looks, and does look at the stars in the sky. Il regarde les étoiles dans le ciel. The thing is, here in French, we do say that there is no ing form which does exist. हम इसका एक छोटा सा chunk देखेंगे आज ing form का, but that is not the exactly ing we are talking about in the English. Here, ing comes into play only when you are in the middle of that verb only. Let's say if you are at the moment you are studying French, if somebody meets you outside, hi, how are you doing? You say, what's up with you? What's up new with you? So you generally say in English, oh, I'm studying French these days. But at the moment of the speaking and meeting that person, you are not studying, you are just talking. So French is very peculiar about this concept as well. That if you are not in the middle of that activity at the moment of speaking, you cannot use ing form very casually. सो इंग्लिश में जो आईएनजी फॉर्म है वो यहाँ पे सिंपली एक टेंस से मैप होता है, दैट इज प्रेजेंट लॉन्डिकेटिव. हमें कॉन्जुगेशंस बहुत अच्छे से आती हैं, सो वी ऑलरेडी नो यही चीज आनी है. तो ये तीनों मीनिंग इसके होते हैं, आईएनजी, your present tense of the English, and the emphatic tense. These three maps to just one tense over here, that is presodu non-indicative. And to make a general statement, an ongoing present action, that's a but obvious use. Thus, you will be using the present tense only. Secondly, it is used to express the close future. Yes, this is also a good usage of it, like he'll leave tomorrow night. Now, this is going to be a very near future. So in that case also, we use simple present tense like il part, demain soir. We have some words to represent the immediate future. So demain soir is tomorrow evening, simply. You can make the simple sentence. We'll discuss this at the end of the weekend. Again, this is going to take the présent. On parle. On parle de cela enfant de semaine. Then you have it the same usage as that of English to express a habitual action. जो as a habit होता जा रहा है, that too is represented, and universal truth, that too is represented by present non-negative. You can see here, the sun rises every day. It's a universal truth. Nobody can stop it. So even in that case, we are going to use the present non-negative. Le soleil se lève. This is pronominal, but you can see the ending that with soleil, if we take it as il, the ending is just simply the e. We'll discuss the pronominals in other lecture. Then usually I buy meat in this butcher shop. Usually is your habit again. So usually becomes d'habitude. And then you will be using simply the présent l'indicatif. I buy will become j'achète. We know the conjugations. Then you can use présent l'indicatif even in the condition when a past action is very closely related to present. Try to understand this. Claude just returned from Asia and chaos started in the office. Just returned. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी उसने 2 मिनट पहले ही एंटर किया है. मतलब it's very closely related to कल आया, परसों आया, जैसे भी आया. So even in that case, you can use the present. Claude revient d'assez et c'est. l'appel au bureau. That is a chaos. They have just come back and the problems have started already. Again, it doesn't mean they have just entered the door, but it's a kind of action in the past which is very closely related to the present. You can say it is not coming alone. They have just come back and the problems have already started. You need to relate it to present somehow. Even in that case, you can use the preso de l'indicatif. You can see it is just usage as such. Commence déjà. Further, we have a very good usage of it, the dramatic one, that is to express the historical fact. Now, that is a fact coming from the history, that is coming from the past, but this is a fact. You cannot change it. So, even the factual information that comes in the Preso de l'indicatif, like here, Flaubert published Madame Bovary and scandal broke out. Now, this is a fact that we can go with. So, it will become Flaubert publie Madame Bovary, c'est le scandale. Means as he published it, the scandal broke out. Now this was in history, no doubt, but it was a fact. So here also we can use the présent de l'indicatif, like in the second one. The president arrived in China and it was a complete disaster. Le président arrive, simple present tense, en Chine, c'est le débâcle. Disaster is débâcle. You can note this vocabulary word as well. So here, simply we are talking about the things which are historical fact. You can imagine it like describing somebody a movie. जब हम किसी को मूवी डिस्क्राइब करते हैं, we never say तो हीरो आया था, we say तब वहां हीरो की एंट्री होती है. We take it in that way only. You can relate it to that. Okay. And when that comes to my next usage of the present tense, when you are describing the past event, but more dramatically with a drama. Like the queen moved toward the throne. Now it is again like we are describing a story. La reine avance vers le throne. Like a movie scene you're describing to other person. And his worst enemy walked into the room. Et son pire ennemi entre dans la salle. Even in that condition, you can use preso de l'indicatif. This is some of the advanced usage of l'indicatif as well. Okay. Now we are coming to a very beautiful expression, which is être en train de plus the infinitive of the form that we use. This is the form when you are in the middle of something and you are to use ing form, and at that time of the speaking, you are actually doing that verb. Try to understand. When you are actually doing that work, then you are trying to use the ing form that comes with the être en train de. That's the thing we need to remember during its usage. And the formula is very simple. You need to use être, and it will be conjugated according to the subject present. En train de. It loosely translates to in the middle of something. That's why it represents simply the ing form. The actual ing form that should be there. And the main action will be coming as such in its infinitive. That's what we are going to do in this. Like, one moment, please. I am talking to Remy. That means in this sentence, the subject, the I, when somebody is disturbing him or her, is in the middle of the talk to the object. This is happening at the same time, in the real time, which we say. So in that case, we use the expression être en train de, and then the infinitive form. Like one moment is un instant. Please is s'il vous plaît. I am talking to Remy. Let's suppose if I am teaching at the moment and somebody is coming, I will say, one moment, please. I am teaching. Because at the time of speaking, I am actually doing that action that becomes in the middle of something. That is the real ing form. So it will be je suis en train de, and talk is the your main action, so it will become parler. Parler à Remy. What are you doing? What is qu'est-ce que? For you, we have taken the tu this time. And for tu, the conjugation of être is a. So être की conjugation change होगी according to our subject pronoun. जो change नहीं होगा, that will be entendu, and to do is simply the infinitive form fait. Just a minute. Just a minute. Now, as we have understood how important this concept is, we will solidify with the help of an example. It says, reformuler les phrases en utilisant un 32 plus infinitive. We can see the whole exercise in front of us. First one is just an example solved for you guys. Like here, we are saying nous chantons une chanson. We are singing a song, but it's not sure that at the time of speaking, when you are saying this sentence, you are actually doing that action. In order to confirm that you are in the middle of the singing at the time of speaking this sentence, we need to do two things. First, we will take this subject and verb. This is what we need to identify. Okay, after that, our subject is fixed, which is nous. There comes the expression être entendu. Here you can see, according to nous, the conjugation of être has been done. That is sans. Then we will take this whole phrase as such, entendu. ये हमेशा ऐसे ही आएगा. Then whatever the verb was, like here it was chantons. So when we go in reverse, we know that how do we do. So when we go in reverse, chantons in its infinitive form becomes chanter. And the object, une chanson, a song, will come as such. Une chanson. I hope you have understood it. So instead of saying nous chantons une chanson, when you are actually doing that action, when you are actually singing, you can say nous sommes en train de chanter une chanson. यही difference है इन दोनों ing form में. This is just figuratively. We are singing a song, but not at the time of the speaking. But nous sommes en train de chanter une chanson. It is at the time of speaking. I hope you have understood the difference. Now we'll be using all these sentences as an example to solidify this concept. Moving on, there is one more usage of the present tense that comes with the word depuis. If I have to say its meaning in one sentence, in one word only in English, so I'll put the equivalent to since. Why? Because depuis represents some actions that began in the past somehow and they are continuing in the present. There comes the meaning of since. Now also, note that in English, past tense use होता है. And there are different ways to formulate the questions. हम बना सकते हैं बहुत तरीके के. And this is what we will be using in speaking section 1 as well in TEF and speaking section 2 in TCF. तो वहाँ पे ये बहुत काम आएगा हमारे. That is why it is very important. How you can use them to make the question, that we'll see. But the firstly, the words are depuis, Ilia, whatever information, and then que you want to obtain, cela or sa, fait, blank, que. Now let's see some examples to make more sense. Here, firstly, we are starting with depuis and its combination. If you want to ask about the duration of an action, कि कितने लंबे टाइम से चल रहा है, you can use depuis quand, which literally means since when, or depuis combien de temps, which means how long. Since when is depuis quand and how long is depuis combien de temps. Like here, how long have you been living in Nice? So for how long, we will be using depuis combien de temps. Then the rest of the question, we know how to make it. You've been living, we reverse the question, habites-tu à Nice? That's the city, okay? So the answer is, I have been living in Nice for 3 years because we know the time, we know the exact duration, so we'll simply use depuis. J'habite à Nice depuis 3 ans. I live in Nice since 3 years or for 3 years because it's a time duration that began in past and somehow is continuing in the present as well. So in those cases, we use depuis. There are some more examples, so we will see all of them, how to make the question. And if you want to say how long you have been working at L'Oreal, now this is how long. We want to understand the duration. So for that, you can simply use depuis quand. Depuis quand travaillez-vous at L'Oreal? You can simply say chez L'Oréal. I have been working at L'Oréal for 3 months. Je travaille chez L'Oréal depuis. That means since 3 months. And this is an action which is going on. So, 3 mois, depuis. Even for how long, you can use the another expression that is il y a and then que. But we know, क्योंकि हम length की बात करेंगे उस duration की, so it will come as combien de temps. So the whole expression becomes il y a combien de temps que. And then come the rest of the question. Have you known Mr. Blier? Vous connaissez Monsieur Blier? I have known Mr. Blier for few years. Il y a. इसका आप आंसर भी il y a में ही देंगे. Il y a quelques années que. Now this is the time duration that you have fitted. आपका il y a plus que वैसे का वैसा ही रहेगा. This we have seen in the question mark as well. ये 3 expression थे हमारे पास. Then you fit the duration. Il y a quelques années. I have known Mr. Blier for few years. That becomes few years, quelques années. And to use safe and que is standard. But if you want to know how long, we know the expression is combien de temps. Ça fait combien de temps avec vous avec ce dictionnaire? How long have you had this dictionary? I have had this dictionary for 5 years. This gives you the expression of have had. So it will become, if you are asking the question is safe, so you have to answer in safe only. Safe, you put the duration que j'ai ce dictionnaire. Ça fait 5 ans que j'ai ce dictionnaire. So this depends upon the question you are asking. If you are using question in the depuis form, answer in the depuis form. If you are using ilia combination over there, use ilia in the answer. If you are using safe wala expression, use safe ka expression in answer also. It depends. But it gives you a lot of variety to speak there and a lot of variety to give in the written expressions as well. This is what examiner wants to know. And to make it even solidified in the concrete memory, we solidify the concept, we will be doing this exercise for the pool. Okay. I hope we are clear till here, and we'll be meeting in the next part. But since then, if you have any doubts, just put in the comment section. I'll entertain them. I hope you have understood and enjoyed the lesson as well. These are going to make the life a little bit easier for you in the French journey. So I'll see you in the next part. Thank you.